Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for a new kind of campus tour. My name is Jake, and I'm a proud alum of the Ryerson Sociology Program, class of 2019. So before we begin, I'd like to share a few Zoom housekeeping tips. To ask a question, hover your mouse over the bottom of your Zoom window until you see the horizontal menu and click on the chat box. A dialog box should open. You can type in your question and a member of our team will answer it. We'll also be answering some questions live at the end of this session. If you're experiencing any issues with your video or audio, you can submit a question through the chat box to give us more details so we can help you fix it. A member of our team can troubleshoot with you to ensure that you're getting the best possible experience. You can arrange your screen in a way that works best for you. How you arrange your screen doesn't impact anyone else's view, so please feel free to adjust the windows as you see fit. Ryerson's working on an essential services model to help prevent the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. So as a result, we'll be walking you through the virtual campus while sharing important information and answering your questions. Please note that information and examples used in this tour don't necessarily reflect some current activities like international exchanges. Ryerson is working diligently to provide students with experiences that are effective and while maintaining the health and safety of students, Ryerson community members, and their partners. Now, before I hand it over to our presenter to start the campus tour, I'd like to read a land acknowledgement from the Ryerson University Aboriginal Education Council. Toronto is in the Dish with One Spoon territory. The Dish with One Spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. Subsequent Indigenous nations and peoples, Europeans, and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. So we use this acknowledgement to mark the beginning of important on-campus events and meetings and ceremonies. Even though we're not currently on campus, it's important to us to acknowledge the history of the land on which Ryerson stands and that the history of North America did not begin when Europeans arrived. That being said, we also understand that acknowledgement on its own is not enough, and our actions moving forward need to be done in good faith and with the goal of advancing truth and reconciliation and for the benefit of Indigenous peoples across the continent. And now I'd like to introduce Kiana to start the presentation. Kiana, take it away.
All right, so hello everyone, I'm Kiana. I'm currently a liaison officer with the National Recruitment Team here at Ryerson. I've also been a campus tour guide since 2016. So although I can't show you a tour of Ryerson in person, I'm so excited to be able to connect with you virtually and give you a virtual campus tour. So as we begin the tour, we're actually at the Ted Rogers School of Management. The Ted Rogers School of Management is located in a prime location in Toronto. It's steps away from Bay Street, and as you may know, it is the financial district in Canada. So a great space to be in because we have tons of industry professionals that can come on campus. We have internships, co-ops, a ton of opportunities for you to really be able to get your foot in the door right at the start. So Ryerson's Ted Rogers School of Management is accredited by the AACSB, which recognizes business schools for integrity, engagement, and innovation. Fun fact, only 5% of business schools around the world have this accreditation. It's one of the largest business schools in Canada in terms of student population and home to 6 schools of management: the School of Accounting and Finance, the School of Business Management, which has 7 distinctions. We also have the School of Health Services Management, the School of Hospitality and Tourism Management, the School of Information Technology Management, and the School of Retail Management, which is actually my program while I was at Ryerson. So something that we have at Ryerson is that we have the Career Center. So this is solely for Ted Rogers students, which is inside this building. So that is the business career hub where there are academic help, career services such as helping you with your LinkedIn profile, with your resume, with your cover letters. So at Ryerson, I actually had to do a 350-hour internship between my 3rd and 4th year. So I got help from the Business Career Hub to help me with resume prep, with interview prep. They went and spent hours with me preparing me for my career. So I did my internship at the Hudson's Bay Company. So I did a buying and merchandising internship, and we have tons of different internships and co-ops. We actually have one of the fastest co-op programs in Canada with reputable positions at EY, Deloitte, at Shopify, at PwC. A lot of our students have actually gone internationally as well. They've gone to Silicon Valley to do their co-ops in Salesforce, in Twitter, in Google. So we have a lot of opportunities for our students. as well as our lecture halls. At the actual Ted Rogers School of Management, our lecture halls, as you can see right here, we have a lecture hall. So we have one of the largest lecture halls on campus. So this is it right here. It has 350 seats. So this is the largest one we have on campus. To be honest, I was only there about once or twice. In your first year, you might have larger classes. However, as you go on your second, third, and fourth year, your classes get a lot smaller and way more intimate, and you really get to have that one-on-one experience with your professors. So this is just a lecture hall that you may have, but then you might have a lab or tutorial in addition to it. At Ryerson, we also have the common RU dining. So anyone interested in hospitality and tourism, we actually have our third and fourth years run a full restaurant. So this is one of the common areas that we have events that are hosted, but our third and fourth year hospitality and tourism management students actually have the opportunity to develop and deliver food and beverages, and it's a full restaurant. I've actually eaten there a few times while I was on campus, so it's a really great space for students to get experience. And in addition to that, we have boot camps. So at the Business Career Hub, as I mentioned earlier, we have boot camps for students to gain experience in different areas. So I took Excel workshops because I'm in buying and merchandising. So for me, Excel number crunching is very important. But we have R, we have Python, we have a ton of different computer programming sessions for students to really gain that experience. And it's completely free and offered at the Ted Rogers School of Management. Something else we have that I took advantage of was our academic advising and as well as our tutoring. So we have a lot of different tutoring support services for some classes, especially in math and accounting and finance. A lot of courses that our students may not be familiar with in high school, you have the opportunity to take part and have free tutoring in the Ted Rogers School of Management. So this is our first stop. If you have any questions, please feel free to type in your questions in the box and we will get to them throughout our session. Our next stop is our Yonge and Dundas Square. Right here, you can see a full panoramic view of our Yonge and Dundas Square. So something that I love about Ryerson is that we are located in the heart of downtown Toronto. Toronto is ranked as one of the most multicultural cities, and with over 146 countries represented in over 80 different languages. So there's a lot of diversity on campus. We also have a lot of events that happen at Yonge and Dundas Square, just in Toronto in general, like Nuit Blanche, the Winter Festival. You'll see it's a never a dull moment. There's always something happening. As a retail management student, it was so great to have Eden Center located right there, not just for my shopping needs, but also being able to apply what I'm learning in my lectures, actually in a mall setting, to go see different store displays, to see consumer behavior. So that was great for me to be able to go from the Ted Rogers building right downstairs to the Eden Center. We also have our hospitality and tourism students who have experience with Toronto tourism. Toronto is one of the tourism capitals, and there's tons of different spaces for them to get involved with, whether that be travel, whether that be food and beverage. Our business and technology management students have the opportunity to have a ton of experience in entrepreneurship and technology. We also have a Ryerson's very own digital media zone, which I will be talking more about at the end of the tour, but that's somewhere that our students have experience. And my favorite part about this spot is right here, as you can see, that's Yonge and Dundas facing the Yonge, One Yonge. And so that is where we have a Cineplex theater. So Ryerson rents out the theater for students. Oh, this is an example exactly of a lecture hall. We rent out the movie theater and we have lectures in the theater. So in my first year, a lot of the larger classes were held in here, and it's such a great space. I would grab some popcorn and be able to actually watch my lecture. So yeah, that's something that's really cool about being in the heart of Toronto. Your classroom is really everywhere. And over here we have our Ryerson map. And so all of the blue buildings are Ryerson buildings. And what's really great about being located in the heart of Toronto is that we don't build this way, we build up. So a lot of our buildings are so close together. You can get from one end of the campus to the other in 10 to 15 minute walk. oftentimes a lot of my classes were so close by that I would just have time to grab a coffee and meet up with some friends in between classes. We also have a tunnel that takes you from one end to the other, all indoors, for most of our classes that are right on campus. And so that was great, especially in the winter, not having to put your jacket on or having to walk outside. You can just go all indoors. So we're going to head to the Nelson Mandela Walk now, which is a walk that we have on campus, and it was named after Nelson Mandela because he's an honorary doctorate degree. He has an honorary doctorate degree from Ryerson University, so we named that area after him. What's located here is our service hub. So what is the service hub, you may ask? So this is it. It's a one-stop shop for all of your needs, whether that be academic, knowing about your requirements, financial assistance. So even if you have any admissions questions, our service hub, you would simply just type in what you would need, grab a number, and be assisted very, very quickly. So this is the first of its kind in Canada. And honestly, it was so great, so easy. And now our service hub has actually moved online. So if you have any admissions questions, financial aid questions, you can definitely message them. You can have a phone call, an email. And over here, we have a ton of space for students to, grab lunch, study, talk to their friends. So a lot of collaborative workspaces. We also have microwaves and something on, so if we move to this side, yes, exactly. We have the cafeteria. So a great spot to grab something to eat on campus. They have a lot of vegan, vegetarian, a lot of locally grown options for you to grab something to eat on campus. Grabbing something to eat on campus is actually quite easy because being downtown, there's a ton of options. Any cuisine you're craving, you can have access to it. And so I actually took advantage of the service hub when I was switching programs. So in my first year, I was actually in the fashion program and had to switch over to I switched over to the business program. And so I had a lot of questions about requirements, about transfer credits, about all these types of things. And the service hub helped me through that whole process. And it was so easy thanks to them. So definitely a great space if you have any sort of questions. And something else that we have in addition to the service hub, which can't really show you, but it's right below it. And that is actually our different services that are offered. So one of them being the tri-mentoring program. So our tri-mentoring program is a peer-to-peer mentoring program. So our first year students get paired up with upper year students and they really help them with their transition. So I actually, in my first year, signed up for the tri-mentoring program. I was paired up with someone who was in my program in their third year, and they helped me find the cheap textbooks, where to eat around campus, which professors to take, which courses to take, which electives to take part in. So a lot of great advice and mentorship. And something that was really cool is that my third year mentor actually got paired up with someone in their industry and help them with career advice. So it kind of works both ways. We also have a career and co-op center, just like I mentioned, the one in our business school. They're also located on campus for all of the other programs, so they can help students with their resumes, their mock interviews, career and group counseling. We also have our international student support. So if we have any international students joining us today, you have the opportunity to gain support, whether it be with your work permit, with academic help, with cultural support, anything you may need, immigration support, we have assistance for you in the International Student Support Services. We also have our Ryerson Aboriginal Student Support Services, which definitely supports our Indigenous students with their transition to Ryerson, Toronto, and any sort of involvement. We have a ton of different activities, such as the powwow. So we have a lot of great services offered for our Aboriginal students. And so, yeah, we're going to move on to our next stop, which is our quad. So this is located right here in the student map. You can see it's that square space around our Kerr Hall. So our quad is the heart of Ryerson's campus. You will see it shortly, but it is one of the largest green space that we have on campus. Our Wi-Fi connects all throughout campus. So as you can see, you would not believe that we are steps away from Yonge and Dundas because of how away you feel from it, how serene and beautiful the green space is. So oftentimes I am with my friends just sitting on this green space, studying, catching up, and yeah, it's a great space that's surrounded by our Kerr Hall building. So Kerr Hall is a square building that actually goes all around the quad, and you may have a class here, most likely you will. It is a multi-purpose building that hosts a ton of programs such as our fashion students, our science students, our faculty of arts, and something that's really cool is that in our Kerr Hall, we also have a theater, which oftentimes we have the Toronto International Film Festival that is held here. So a lot of great opportunities here. We have a lot of career in academic involvement, like a lot of our groups. So at Ryerson, we have over 100 groups of whether you're interested in something cultural, in religious, in activities such as I was part of the fashion club. I was part of my cultural club. So there's a ton of clubs at Ryerson, and we have a club fair where you're able to sign up for all the clubs at the beginning of the year, and that is held right here near Kerr Hall in the quad. So a lot of cool things that happen here. Our engineering students actually have a buggy push charity event where they push a buggy all around the quad to raise money for cancer research. So here you can see our orientation for our first year students. So our orientation happened online this year, but it is still a great space for you to meet new people and really get that Ryerson spirit. So we're going to move on to our next stop, which is our Sheldon and Tracy Levy Student Learning Center. So that's located right here on Yonge Street. Our building is right there at the front. And that's actually my favorite building on campus, and I can't wait to tell you why. It has so many great services. As you can see, it's so beautiful. It was newly built in 2015. So it is a 21st century library. So you may be wondering, what the heck is a 21st century library? Well, it is a community space for students to study and hang out with in between classes. It's a library without any books. So you're able to collaborate in this space. But what's really great is that if you go up these stairs, you actually can head to the library, which has 500,000 books. So if you do want books, then you can gain that. But also our library has a ton of services. Like you have the ability to rent out laptops. So we have PCs, we have Macs. And so as someone who commuted to school every day, one day I forgot my laptop and I really needed it for one of my assignments. So it was really great with my Ryerson One card, which is our identification card. I was able to rent out a laptop for the day. So great thing to have on campus. If you forgot yours, if yours breaks, if you need a charger, all of that, you can get that on campus. We also have a lot of books that are available online. So let's say you need to rent out a book, but you're not able to get to campus. You can do that by simply going online and renting it out online in a digital PDF version. We also have computer labs. So if you don't want to rent out the computer, but you just need to use it throughout your break, you can do that. We have labs and PCs, and we also have printers on campus. So for someone who had a lot of art projects in my first year in fashion, I definitely needed to print a lot. So having access to all of that on campus is really great. But in terms of this beautiful student learning center building, there's a few floors that I like to mention because every floor is so different. It's a different theme. So our first floor that we're going to head to is the beach. So the lighting in the beach is large circles. So we will see it here exactly. So large circles, it's a very chill beach vibe. And this actually has a lot of natural light, but we have beach chairs, beanbag chairs, recycled boat sails. It's a great space for students to, just relax in between classes, talk to their friends. Some students also study here, but it's a lot more fun to just relax. And that's what's great about having that on campus. We have The next floor I want to head to is our fourth floor. So our fourth floor is the garden. So it definitely does look like a garden with all of the green, the greenery. Even the carpet is like grass. And so something that I love about this building, this specific floor, is the academic support. So as I mentioned, in the Ted Rogers School of Management, we have a lot of supports, but in this building as well, we have our English support, our math tutoring, we have drop-ins for you to come in and just, get your answers, your questions answered. We also have essay help, citation help. So when transitioning from high school to university, oftentimes you can hear that the transition may not be so smooth. However, I never felt that because of all the academic supports that we have on campus. So for someone who was not good at math in high school at all, it was really great to have the math support because I was able to go to tutoring sessions, have one-on-one tutoring. I even had great supports with citation help. When looking for different sources, when looking how to cite a paper, you have all of those resources available right here in this space. And it's all free for you to use. So it's all included in your tuition, and it's a great opportunity to take advantage of. We also have our next floor is the Sky. So that is the 8th floor, and that's the highest floor in our Student Learning Center. I spent most of my time here because if you know about Ryerson and Toronto, we're all about the views. So here you have the best view on campus. You get to see the whole city line of Toronto, but here is also a great space for you to study. So we have here we have these tables for you to be able to study, whether it be in a group setting or just independently. But we also have rooms for you to rent out. So we have study rooms, breakout rooms for you to be able to sign up for online and be able to do group projects and teamwork in a small space, in a confined space, for you to be able to have that space to work on campus without any distractions. We have projectors, markers, all that kind of stuff for you to take advantage of. And we have on our 3rd floor, we have, which we're going to head to right now, is our so we have our zone learning. So we're gonna head to the 3rd floor to look at our digital media experience. So in our digital media experience, students have the technology to be able to work with technology, but like our 3D printers, free coding classes. So great space for students to touch upon the new technology that's going on and gain free experience on that too. So as you can see, someone's looking at VR. So I actually got to test this out in the digital media experience, and it's really great. It's all completely free, but you get to see how things work, and you have industry professionals that are really helping you understand all of that. So next, we're going to head to zone learning. So Ryerson, you may be wondering what a zone is. So at Ryerson, we have 10 zones, which are business incubators that are open to all students, not just entrepreneurs. And we have 3,500 startups that have been incubated to date. 40% of our members are female, which is a great stat to have at Ryerson. 40% of female. We have a lot of female leadership on campus. We've raised over $750 million. And so have any of you perhaps heard of brands such as Nixwear, Majuri, Inkbox? So all of these brands are actually started in our zone learning, in our zone. So an example of something that I think is really cool is that Majuri, the jewelry company, which focuses on e-commerce and social media, has raised $29 million in venture funds. And the CEO of the company is actually a Ryerson grad. She started Majuri right here in our zone. We also have another one, the Inkbox. Inkbox got started in our fashion zone, and it's a temporary tattoo business. So got started here as well. So I actually had a friend who was in the fashion communications program, and she had an idea to build a business, and she started it in one of her marketing classes for fun, and then did it in her branding class, in her entrepreneurship class. And she decided, oh, you know what? I'm going to take all of these little puzzle pieces and take it to the fashion zone and see what they can do for me. So they actually helped her with mentoring, with workshops, with the resources to actually put all these puzzle pieces together and to build an amazing company. Now Gigi Hadid and Bella Hadid wear her stuff. She has over 30,000 followers on Instagram. So she was able to do that thanks to the zone, the fashion zone. So one zone that is very popular at Ryerson is our digital media zone, which is the #1 university incubator in North America. And so here we have a lot of software and tech-based startups. So our digital media zone has had over 450 startups and has created 4,000 jobs for our economy. A company that has come out of this has been Access Now, which was a Yelp type of business built for accessibility. It was started by our master's student who realized that there wasn't enough information about accessibility for restaurants in different areas around the city, and it's now in over 30 countries around the world. So really cool to see how one idea can really be built into a huge business thanks to our zones, which is quite unique to Ryerson. Yeah, so this is our zone learning. And I want to now end the tour, but thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today on our virtual tour. And I'd like to open it up for any questions. If anyone has any questions, please just, write it in the Q&A box, and passing it back to Jake now.
Thanks so much for that, Kiana. That was a fantastic session. So we are now going to shut down our audio and video, meaning you won't be able to see or hear us, but we'll still be online until the end of the hour to answer any questions you may have. So please feel free to submit questions through the Q&A pod until the end of the hour. A reminder that recordings of all virtual open house sessions will be available on our website later on in October. However, this will not include the typed Q&A, so I encourage you to make note of any answers to your questions before the webinar ends. We'll be hosting another virtual open house the weeks of November 9th and November 16th, which will feature program information sessions for each of our undergraduate programs, and we hope to see you there. On behalf of Ryerson University, thank you once again for joining us today, and we hope to see you in other sessions this week, later on today, and later in November as well. Take care of yourself, everyone.